Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here for our second season in MotoGP. And here we are for the 9th round of the season at the Assen circuit, obviously the Motul TT Assen GP. So I'll have a look at the championship standings then, just to give you a refresh of what happened in the last episode. So Fabio Quartararo moves up 6 positions in the championship after winning at Sachsenring. We made that pretty bad mistake in qualifying, destroyed the bike by crashing, and then there wasn't enough time to repair it, so I had to try and ride the damaged bike around. Couldn't get higher than last position on the grid, of course, because of all the damage. Did an amazing comeback just to get second place. There wasn't enough laps for me to catch up to Quartararo, unfortunately. We probably could have done if there was a few more, but just not quite enough. So he moves up to 3rd in the championship. Valentino Rossi actually stays put in 4th because he had quite a good race. Dovi didn't have a very good race, neither did Rins or Miller apparently. Vinales wasn't too bad, but most of them obviously moving down a position because they got beaten by Quartararo because Quartararo won the race. So a lot of people moving up and down in the championship, but it's still extremely close. Obviously, Quartararo and Rossi are joint on points, and then Rins and Dovizioso behind them are only 2 points down. So between 3rd and 6th, there's only 2 points. Only 6 points between 8th and 3rd. Pol Espargaro is dropping a little bit further behind, but this championship for 2nd position is all to play for. Obviously, Marquez is stretching away a little bit from everybody else, but he's not miles ahead of Quartararo and Valentino Rossi behind him. Looking at the Constructors' Championship, Yamaha, again, after obviously Quartararo winning in Sachsenring, move ahead of Ducati. So Ducati actually down to 4th in the Constructors' Championship. Completely forgot Suzuki obviously leading the race. I was just looking at the right hand side, looking at the standings, but no, the first position person is always on the left now. And basically the same sort of story in the Teams Championship as well. Repsol Honda moving ahead of the mission winner Ducati team, along with the Monster Energy Yamaha team as well, because they didn't have the best race, mission winner Ducati. So Yamaha getting the win. I think Vinales got around 4th place, so it was quite a good weekend for the Yamaha boys. So without any further ado then, there is nothing to do on the junior team side, because this race was literally straight after the last one, so anything we talked about in the last episode, that's it. So heading straight into Assen now, I'll see you in qualifying 1. So then here we are at Assen for qualifying 1. Let's see who's in this session with us then. So Franco Morbidelli actually in here with us, Oliveira, Iker Lecuona, Danilo Petrucci, Takaki Nakagami, Aleix Espargaro, Cal Crutchlow, Francesco Bagnaia, Jorge Martin, Johan Zarco, Tito Rabat, Alex Marquez, and then of course myself. Now the AI over the years have not been too good at this circuit. They're actually not too bad on this game. I will give them credit. They've improved them quite a bit here. I don't know why I nearly went onto a medium tyre then. It's not really a very warm circuit here. So we'll head out onto the track. But yeah, this year the AI have seemed a little bit better. Last year we didn't actually get the win, but it was wet in the race, of course. So we had quite good pace in the qualifying. And if you remember back to Moto 2, Tom Luthi actually kept us very honest here. We could not shake him off as much as I tried. So we start his lap here then at Assen, down towards the first corner. The most famous track probably in MotoGP, well the most prestigious, the oldest one. It's done every single season except 2020, unfortunately of course, having to be cancelled, which is really, really disappointing. It kind of ruins that stat as well. That's probably my favourite part about it. It's the only track that's done the kind of every single year. And I suppose technically it was still on the provisional calendar. We were meant to go here, that's why we're here on the game. But yeah, unfortunately, not going there in real life. So we're 3/10 away in the first sector, so there's quite a bit of time to gain there. But we are taking it fairly easy on this first lap. I never push over the limit. Well, sometimes I do, but I try not to push over the limit on the very first lap. Tyres on up to temperature, almost half a second off by the second sector. But whoever this is in front of us, we are cashing that up quite a bit. 2 laps of fuel remaining, so quite fuel critical it seems. We should know that though back from the historic challenges with Daijiro Kato. I'll never let that one go. 1.5 laps of fuel left with a lap to go in power mode 1. That should get you to the end, not to here. This is where we ran out of fuel coming out of the Dukersloot. But yeah, or the Duikersloot it might be. I'm not really sure on that one. As you can tell, my pronunciations on things aren't great. If you do know how to actually say it, feel free to correct me. I've seen a couple of people, especially the Italian pronunciations have been corrected a few times, and I do appreciate it actually. I don't take it as an offence or anything like that. I prefer to know how to say it properly, so if you do know that I'm saying something wrong, do let me know. But here we go through the chicane then. I've absolutely messed that up. Massive wheelie again. And what's this time going to be? 32.0. Yeah, we can definitely improve on that. But look at the fuel. 1.2 laps of fuel left. There's really not much in this tank. So coming through the final chicane then, try not to wheel in the middle of it. Obviously we messed it up quite badly last time. Again, another big wheelie, so coming up towards the line. We're not going to beat Oliveira's time, 2/10 off it. We're going to have to head back to the pits and go for another run here. So here we are then out for a second stint as we take control from the autopilot. I just need to try and get the chicane a bit better. Well, that's definitely not the way to do it. That was appalling. The run the run here is going to be terrible. This lap is gone already just from that mistake alone. Out the last chicane then. We actually got quite a good flow through there, but the rest of the lap was terrible, so it just wasn't good enough. Coming up towards the line then, is this lap going to be good enough? Oh, it was an improvement, but it's still only third place, so we're going to have to go for a third run in this session. So here we go then through the last chicane, starting our third run. Almost got hit by a Lacy Swagger when I came out onto the track. But we've got 20 seconds, so we just get one shot at this. So coming up towards the line then, we've absolutely smashed anything we did before, 30.6. So then, almost half a second quicker than Miguel Oliveira. So that lap was so much faster than anything we'd done before. I had a really good Sector 1, carried it through to Sector 2, and Sector 3... I still lost a little bit of time to their time, but I was losing so much to Sector 3 the entire session. I think I need to change the traction control settings throughout the lap to get the best lap time. I need 2 in the first sector, and then sort of for the third sector I need to turn up to 3 or 4 because I'm spinning too much on the right hand side through the long right hander, and they're gaining so much time on me through there. But it was good enough to go through. Just at the end I was a bit worried we wouldn't, and we'd go through with Miguel Oliveira. So let's head into qualifying 2 then, and hopefully we've got enough tyres left. I don't actually know if we've got enough tyres left, but hopefully we have, and hopefully we can try and get a decent qualifying spot. So here we are then in this qualifying session, and to be honest, these tyres have only done 1 lap, so I think I'm actually going to go and do my first run on this set of tyres from qualifying 1, just to make sure we've got plenty of tyres to use. So we'll head out to the track then, and hopefully they still got some decent grip left. They actually could be a slight improvement because they will have already been scrubbed in, of course, so that was actually quite a good last chicane. So as we start this lap, hopefully this is something decent. So coming up towards the line then, what's this time going to be compared to Miller's 30.8, 2 tenths off, nearly 3 tenths, 31.1. We can go quicker because I did it in the previous session. Through the last chicane then, coming up towards the line. What's this one going to be? 31.1 again, but not quite an improvement. So we'll have to head back to the pits then and come out for a second run to try and get this pole position. So out for the second run then, we're only 5th place on the grid now, and we're still, the pole time is still the same. I've done the rewind trick to see if it updates, but no, it's still a 30.8 from Miller, the fastest lap, so this grid is close. So coming up towards the line then, what's this going to be? 31.3, so still not good enough. I'm going to have to just keep going. They have been so strong here in qualifying. This lap has gone absolutely nowhere. It is so slow, so I'm just going to head back into the pits instead because we're 1.1 off already. So we're now down to 7th place as we start this run. It's still Miller on pole, so we just need to find a little bit of time to move up some positions. I invalidated at the final chicane. It was on for a really good... I think I could have got pole with that time, but... Oh, I invalidated at the final chicane. But look how close this grid is. Valentino Rossi is 69 thousandths away from pole position. There is literally 8 tenths of a second separating 1st and 12th. If you get rid of Mir and Espargaro, because those two, in terms of everybody else's times, are miles off. There's 3 tenths separating Miller to Binder in 10th there. That is absolutely unbelievable. So we've got a race on our hands. Marquez is actually behind us. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough one here at Assen. But, of course, first things first, we've got to watch our Moto3 riders. Hopefully they've qualified a little bit better than I have. Although, actually, if they qualified 7th, that would be quite good for them. But hopefully, in terms of their relative qualifying performance, they've done a little bit better than I have. Let's see how they got on in qualifying. Let's see how they get on in the race. So then Daisy Jackson in 15th place on the grid. Where is Manuel Hernandez going to be? Pole! He's on pole! What? Okay, he did qualify a bit better than me. Wow. Okay, I didn't expect that. I did not expect that at all. Daisy Jackson down in 15th. Manuel Hernandez on pole position. Wow. I guess you could tell from my reaction I did not expect that at all. Wow, I'm excited to get this race started. Let's get this race started. Come on, Manuel. He's had a Yama, Masia, Arbolino, Antonelli, McPhee, Finati. He's been getting some top 10 finishes as of late, so he's definitely improving. And hopefully Jackson can come through from that 15th place. So quickly we're on board with Jackson. We need to swap to Manuel Hernandez, who's actually on pole position here. Lights out, away we go. Macias had a great start, so Macias actually got ahead of him, I believe, as they go down towards the first corner, but he's still holding 2nd place ahead of Antonelli as they go down towards it. Will Antonelli build that break? He's down to 4th place. He's been a little bit mugged by some of the front runners. But you know what? I'm happy enough for him even starting on pole position. He's in 4th place. He's going to be down to 5th now as Vietti comes past. Arbolino's coming past. He's getting absolutely swamped on this first lap, bless him. He's probably a bit overwhelmed. It looks like Jackson's actually had quite a good start behind. If we have a look at what position she's in, she's up to 9th. Hernandez is down to 8th, so actually a great start for Jackson. Once again, she really is a first lap demon. She just needs to get these qualifying sorted. She really is always putting herself on the back foot. She's actually side by side with her teammate who started on pole. He's down to 10th place, bless him. He's not had the best start. I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but I'm still happy to even start on pole. So he's down to 11th now. So if we swap to Daisy, who's now the lead rider, I'd like to be on board with the lead rider, of course. She's looking for a move on Andrea Mino up the inside. I was going to say Fenati, I don't know why, but it's McPhee behind that's not had a great start either, because he's actually dropped behind Jackson. He looks like he's going for a move on Jackson. It looks like Iagora's got back ahead of Hernandez as well, so Hernandez has really had a poor start here. Jackson has had quite a good one, up 6 places from her starting position of 15th. Oh, she's down! She's crashed! Jackson's crashed! No! What happened there? I just heard the sound sort of go, and down goes Daisy Jackson. She's out the race. So that's it, 1 rider down already. This has been a disastrous Dutch GP so far. So Hernandez has lost 10. It's going to be 11 places as McPhee goes up the inside. Will Agora be able to get through? Oh no, actually he was still behind McPhee anyway. Can he get back up the inside of McPhee? We need to beat McPhee here. We haven't got 2 riders scoring points at this rate, but Daisy Jackson crashes. I have no idea what happened to her there. I just saw her on the floor. Fenati leading the race, but Hernandez had a terrible first lap from a 1st to 11th position on the grid. Sorry, I just punched my mic there. Well, I didn't punch it, but I accidentally hit it with my hand. But oh no, this has not been a good start at all. But he's all over the back now of Dennis Fogger. Can he try and get past Fogger here? Here comes Hernandez side by side with Fogger. Will he be able to make a move around the outside? This would be a brave place to do it, that's for sure. He's still hanging it in there, but not quite close enough. It's one of those deceiving camera angles that made him look a little bit further alongside than he actually was. So still sat in 11th place for now. If he could try and get a few more places, I'd still be pretty happy with the top 10. But, oh, I was so shocked when I saw him on pole position. I'm so disappointed to see he's dropped through the pack. But he is, I mean, on his profile, it was said that he was a qualifier, like in his stats sort of thing when we hired him. So that's to be expected, but it does look like he is really growing his stature every single race as we come to the corner where Daisy crashed. I'm not sure how you even crashed there, to be honest. I think she washed the front out, but it was mid-corner. And on this game, when you pick up the power, the front doesn't offload. You can't do that. So I don't know how that's really happened to her, unfortunately. But McPhee going side by side with Fogger, so McPhee actually struggling, it seems, a little bit in this race. Fogger now ahead of McPhee. So can Hernandez try and get past McPhee and get back up into that top 10 as we go into the chicane? This is where I've been quite quick in qualifying. Fenati actually to the front and pulling away, which is very unrealistic. McPhee's got past Fogger. Will Hernandez use the slipstream and follow him through? He's still 11th apparently as we go down towards the first corner. Yes, he's still sat in 11th for now. So Andrea Mino has actually dropped through the pack quite a bit, because now all of a sudden he's in front of Manuel Hernandez, and he was much further in front. He was in front of Fogger and McPhee, and he might have even been in front of Vietti. I'm not too sure on that. But can Hernandez get past Mino then, because it looks like he's struggling? So down towards the final chicane. Can he do anything? Wow, Fenati is checked out. Look at that gap he's got, like how much earlier he goes over the line than anybody else. Hopefully he doesn't get that reeled in. It'd be nice to see Fenati on the top step, but Manuel Hernandez, can he get past Andrea Mino? He's got 3 more laps to do it. Oh, Hernandez is really close to got to Mino now as they come through the quick sections that end the lap. McPhee's getting a little bit away from the 2 of them in front, but can Hernandez do anything into this Gert Timmer chicane? He does have a couple more laps to have a go, but it would be nice if we could try and get past Mino early so he doesn't actually get stuck behind him for the whole race, because we have seen that happen before with our riders. They've been just stuck behind the same rider for the entire race. But no, it just doesn't seem to have that advantage over Mino, unfortunately. Hopefully the 2 in front can start battling and that'll allow him to overtake both of them. Oh, Hernandez has got past Mino. I'm not sure where that happened. I've somehow managed to miss that overtake happening, but he's got in front of Mino now. You think I would, you know, I'd see everything, but I think I literally just looked away for a second because he looked too far behind him. But all of a sudden, Hernandez is now past Mino. It looks like he's hunted down McPhee. Come on, Hernandez. He is really fast with this fast ending to the track, and he's close up to John McPhee. This could be amazing for us if we can manage to beat, McPhee in this race. The Constructors' Championship, this is going to help massively, because it's been a while since we beat McPhee, and we don't have both riders, so just try and balance out his scoring if he beats us. So come on, Hernandez, please try and get past John McPhee. It's the final lap of the race. So as we come to the end of the race, and he just couldn't quite catch up to McPhee, it's going to be still quite a good result. Another top 10 for Hernandez. He's definitely going to beat both objectives. Unfortunately, though, Daisy Jackson has kind of let us down a little bit by crashing, but these things happen sometimes in racing. So over the line then, Manuel Hernandez comes home in 10th position. So Romano Fenati then really had the pace in that race. He absolutely cleared off 4.1 seconds ahead of Yama Masia in 2nd position. Manuel Hernandez then ends up in 10th position, and of course, down in last place, a non-finisher, Daisy Jackson. And Gabriel Rodrigo and Carlos Tatai as well have had the glitch where they've been put too far back, but that's actually going to affect Gabriel Rodrigo quite a bit, because I think he was in about 12th position, so that's definitely going to make him lose some points in the championship. Unfortunately, Petronas are definitely going to gain some points on us, because obviously Jackson didn't finish and Hernandez didn't beat McPhee. In the Riders' Championship then, Macia still leads. Daisy Jackson now only 5 points ahead of Manuel Hernandez, but they're still plenty clear of Gabby Rodrigo, although John McPhee is now 30 points ahead of Daisy Jackson, so I think it's just going to be the fight between our two riders over P11 probably for the rest of the season. In the Teams Championship then, there has actually been a change. Stelgard and Max Racing has actually moved ahead of Sky Racing, Team VR46 there, actually quite a way, 7 points, although there are big swings in the Constructors Championship. We're still sat 5 points behind Petronas Sprinter Racing, so I think we were 4 going in. So it's not too bad, it's not the end of the world. We're still miles ahead of Red Bull KTM because we still outscored those guys, so not the end of the world, but a bit of a letdown there from Daisy Jackson, unfortunately, to crash. She needs to qualify a little bit better because she has to push too hard on these first laps. She always gets great starts, she gained a lot of positions, but she's obviously just pushing too hard, washed the front out, or what. I'm not really sure what she did. She might have had contact with someone. I didn't really see. I think I was sort of trying to watch Hernandez a little bit to see what was going on with him, because I saw that they were quite close together. And then all of a sudden I hear the audio sort of cut out from the engine and see that she's sliding down on the ground. So yeah, quite unfortunate there. But now it's time for my race. Can we do anything from 7th on the grid? I'm hoping we can, but let's find out. So then Jack Miller on pole position here at Assen, Valentino Rossi in 2nd position. So quite an interesting grid. I didn't expect to see Miller on pole. He's been struggling quite a bit as of late, so it's nice to see him back up at the sharp end. We're still in 7th, but that's still in front of our championship rival Marc Marquez, so that's very, very good. Although we've got a 90-point lead, so if he beat us a couple of times, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It's shown me twice for some reason. Does that every so often. It's a little bit weird. I think if you start around 7th place-ish, like sort of the 3rd row, I think you actually get shown twice sometimes, which is a little bit odd. So then, I've got nothing else to add. Let's start this race, and hopefully we can try and make up some positions on the earlier laps.
Just a few minutes to go until the Grand Prix begins. Assen, the motorbike university, is once again ready to put everyone to the test.
So then Miller on the pole, Rossi 2nd, Dovi 3rd. So the Ducati's actually going quite well here at Assen, which you wouldn't necessarily expect. But waiting for the lights to go here then at Assen, lights out, and away we go. Rins just ahead of us there, but I think he might have got a slightly better start. We try to get some slipstream of Quartararo. Quartararo has not had a great start. As we go down towards the first corner, we've actually had a stormer around the outside. We've actually gained positions for once on the run down towards the first corner, up to 5th place. Usually we lose positions at this point in the race. Quartararo on the inside of Valentino Rossi then wants to cement that status as top Yamaha in the championship. We go up the inside of Rossi as well, sort of follow him through. Now we're looking at the inside of Quartararo as well, as we flick it back through Strub, and up the inside of Quartararo we're going to go on the power nice and early as well. Are we going to get past Dovizioso on the exit? Miller's looking behind us. Yes, we absolutely left Dovizioso behind in the dust, so up to 2nd position already. It's been a fantastic start to the race, and here we go, close up on Jack Miller through the Ruskin hook. We're on the power a little bit earlier than me, and up the inside, up into the lead of the race already. We've got a bit wide into the Steckenval. He's still got the inside line. We've got to slot in behind him, so Miller still leads for now, but we almost took the lead already in this race, and I'm sure that's not what the other riders want to see. I guess if you were in a real life season, you'd be annoyed that this guy is winning all the races or getting podiums in them all, the ones that he's not winning anyway, and he pulls away in most of them, so they'd really want to make sure they stay in front of me. But looking behind, we've still got quite a big gap to Dovizioso, so Dovizioso really had a poor exit off Strub, and it cost him a lot of time. And here we go, through the really high-speed section of the track. This is where Manuel Hernandez was so fast in Moto3, but we've not quite been able to catch up to the back of Jack Miller. But here we go into the last chicane at the inside at the end of this first lap. Into the lead of the race we go, but Miller's still holding it. He cut the corner a little bit, but we've taken the lead here at Assen already. It's only been one lap from 7th to 1st. I didn't think it would be that easy to get into the lead, that's for sure. So we hit the brakes in for the first corner. We're just holding on to the lead. Let's see if we can build out any kind of gap now. So at the end of the second lap then, what's the time going to be? 30.7. That's quicker than we did in qualifying there. That would have been good enough for pole position by about a tenth on the second lap of the race on medium tyres as well. 30.8 on that lap, so we are keeping a consistent pace up to 30.7 again on that lap. Even with some power mode 0 that I was using there. 5.5 seconds in front now, that's a massive lead already. So as we're about to start the final lap of the race then. Basically been doing 30.8s the entire race. We just dipped to the 30.9s on that lap then, so we've just got to bring it on home. It's been an easy domination. We're about 12 seconds in front now. If we see the gap in a second, it should come up. 12.4 seconds, so this is basically as dominant as we were in Jerez. Let's see if we can get to 13 again, but it'll probably do the glitch and give us take some time away off my lead. So through the final chicane then for the final time, coming up towards the line, we're going to win here in Assen by an absolutely massive margin with another 30.8 on that final lap. So yeah, it seems to have done the glitch where it has taken quite a bit of my gap away, but we win by 12.7 seconds, which I think is actually bigger than what we were given at Jerez. So that's our new biggest winning margin. Absolute domination here at Assen. Throughout the entire race, I did not see Marc Marquez's name mentioned once on any of the overtake indicators or anything like that. And he actually remains in 8th place. I think he started 9th. He must have picked off 1 place then on the first lap when I wasn't paying attention. And that's it. He's not gained anything else. So a poor showing there for Marc Marquez. Fabio Quartararo and Valentino Rossi actually doing pretty well in 4th and 5th. Dovi in 3rd as well. Those 3 will definitely be making some inroads on on Marc Marquez, but Jack Miller, that 2nd place for him, has been his best result for a long time, so that will boost him up in the championship. Pol Espargaro down in 10th place. Obviously the Honda just not working here at Assen, just not working too well, it seems. So then in the championship standings, actually, despite Quartararo having such a good race, he actually loses 2 positions, same with Valentino Rossi, because Miller and Dovizioso are now equal on points for 3rd place in the championship, only 9 back of Marc Marquez now. So this is an absolutely unbelievable championship, how close this is for the guys behind. We're 107 points in the lead, so we've absolutely wiped the floor with everybody so far this season, and once again winning by such a big margin, wiping the floor with everybody. But everybody behind us is so close. So Marquez only a few points in front of Dovizioso and Miller, who are tied. Quartararo is 1 point behind them. Rossi's a further 2 back then. Rin's only further 4 back, 3 back then to Vinales. Pol Espargaro actually starting to drop out of contention. His last few races have not been too good. I thought at one point he was going to be my championship rival just because of how good he was at Qatar. It has been a weird, messy season. There's been some glitches. So you've got to remember that Marquez, Dovizioso and Miller, they've all lost big... Actually, I think Pol Espargaro as well. So actually those 4, the 2 factory Hondas and the 2 factory Ducatis, they lost massive points at Mugello because they got put way further back than they should have been. They got given the glitch, I think. I can't remember if Espargaro got included in that. I'm pretty sure he was. So those guys have done really well. Marquez and Dovizioso and Miller are doing actually quite well. Considering I thought Miller had been having quite a dip in form lately, but he's still pretty close to Dovizioso it seems, so that's not too bad. Obviously they're now tied on points, so they're both getting the absolute maximum out of that GP20. So then in the Teams Championship, it's kind of roles reversed from last time. The Ducati team, after a really good finish, leaps ahead of the Repsol Honda team. The Yamaha team actually stays put because they're now tied on points with the Repsol Honda team, so it's all so close in the Constructors Championship. It could go down to the wire. We've got 127 points in the bag, so we're alright in the lead, but it's a really close championship. Even further down as you go, Red Bull KTM Tech 3 and Real Avintia Racing are actually on the same amount of points. And just that 1 point then for Aprilia, as he gained by Crutchlow, I think, after one of the glitch races. I think it was after Mugello. So, yeah, that 1 point for Aprilia. They are really struggling this year. And then in the Constructors Championship, there has been no change, but Ducati, after a really good race, have closed up to 1 point behind Yamaha, so it is quite a close championship between them, and they're not too far behind Honda either. They're only 5 points behind them, so there's only 6 points separating 2nd to 4th in the Constructors Championship, so that's quite interesting. 79 point lead, not quite as big in this one, and it is harder to gain points back in the Constructors Championships, that's probably why. So then we'll head back into the career hub. We'll see what we've gained from this weekend. I'm guessing the Moto 3, probably not great because obviously Jackson didn't get the qualifying or the race objectives, so hopefully that doesn't offset Manuel Hernandez's really good weekend. So then this weekend, gaining nothing from qualifying once again. Obviously we didn't get on the 2nd row, we started 7th, so right at the front of the 3rd row. We get 30,200 from the race though, obviously with the top 5 objective and the bonus for 1st position. So we gain into 13,200 reputation points, which takes up to 635,900. And in the credits then we gain 72,040, getting 40,000 from the Moto 3 race instead of 80,000 because obviously Jackson crashed out of the race. I got 31,000 for my victory, so that brings us up to 1,650,000 424 credits. We have not gained much prestige this week. I'm kind of sad to say it, but Daisy Jackson has actually let the team down quite a bit here because Manuel Hernandez, another top 10 finish. He's really grown in stature. Any top 15 finish is even good for me. And if you finish just outside that, again, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, that has happened to Hernandez. If you remember back to Austin, Hernandez actually got caught up in somebody else's crash, and that caused him to make us lose quite a few prestige points. But this time, Jackson qualified poorly again, pushing too hard on the first lap, crashes. I think that's what happened. If there's been contact, I'm sorry, but I'll have to watch back the footage to see what happens, and I can't do that right now. So yeah, so Jackson just kind of letting the team down there because that's minus 175. That actually completely offsets anything Hernandez did in the race. And it's quite disappointing that you only gained 39 prestige even though you got pole position for the qualifying. I can accept that, yeah, she didn't qualify that great and she didn't get us the points, but she crashed in the race and that's cost us a lot of prestige there. We still gained 64 overall, but not great. 275 research data, that's quite nice to have as well, but I'm a little bit disappointed by that, I must say. I can't really deny that. So if we have a look at the Moto3 team then, there is some team planning for next year. So a new team manager applying again. Also, actually a little bit better on the credits. Had 10 years of experience in the MotoGP world, good at getting advantageous economic offers from sponsors. That's quite nice. So I think I'll keep that one. This one here has quite a big hit on the financial thing, so I will get rid of that. But Vicente Gil actually could be quite good for next season. I'll have a look at maybe hiring them there. I don't think there's anything else we can do on the bike development. Oh, actually there is, yes. We have now got enough research data to actually upgrade this engine for a second time. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how many weeks it's going to take. Did it say if we back out 6 weeks then until they get an engine upgrade? Oh, and on team development there is something on the R&D front that we can do as well. So we've already done the minus 2 weeks on the engine nodes. We can do minus 2 weeks on the frame nodes here. I think that's probably worth doing. How long is this frame upgrade going to take? 2 weeks. And how many more is there to go? There's still quite a few to go, so I think, yeah, it's definitely still worth going for. It's not very expensive either. It's only 75,000 credits. We've got over 1 million, so it doesn't really matter too much. Can we get another one here? No, we can't get several on the R&D at the same time. It's going to be a while then. 3 weeks till we can upgrade anything else on the team development. 2 weeks till we can do anything on the bike development, but I'm going to have a guess and say they're not going to... They need 825 research data. They're not going to get that in 2 races, so it's going to be a while before we can do any more upgrades then. But there is a little bit of a break. Actually, it's a summer break now. No, there's the Kimi ring and then there's a summer break. Okay, fair enough. So there's actually a few things apparently going off in the next couple of weeks. That's quite interesting. But that's well end off the episode then. I've not really got much to say, to be honest. Pretty boring MotoGP race, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of my fault for pulling away, I guess, but I was expecting quite a good race because I qualified 7th. I was struggling for pace throughout that entire qualifying session, and in that race I dropped outside of the 1 minute 30.8 once, and that was a 1 minute 30.9. So it wasn't like I dropped out of it massively. I think my fastest lap of the race was a 1 minute 30.7. My slowest lap of the race, if you get rid of the first lap of course, was a 1 minute 30.9. So we had fantastic consistency. My worst lap time of the race, besides lap 1, was good enough for 3rd on the grid. So we had absolutely amazing pace there. And I don't know why I couldn't put that together in qualifying. I think the secret probably was to put a medium tyre in qualifying. So I think that's something I'm going to have to consider a little bit more. But that's it then. I've got nothing else to say. So I hope you guys did enjoy that video. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe. And I shall see you in the next one.